Hey there tuners and tunies, and don't mind me just wearing my brand new hat, and isn't it a beauty? I have no idea where this joke is going. Kickstarter successes are a rare thing to come by nowadays, particularly when it comes to the world of video games. We've seen it time and time again, whether it be the overly ambitious and downright awful Mighty No. 9, the aggressively lukewarm Yooka-Laylee, or even projects like the ill-fated Yacht Ventures, which never even reached consumers in the first place. My point is, Kickstarters are incredibly unreliable, and despite logical reasoning and evidence to suggest that a good game could eventually be delivered, you can never be so sure. Of course, there are some Kickstarters that manage to excel past the presumed challenge and make a good game in the end, most notably Yacht Club Games, the developers of the critically acclaimed Shovel Knight. But, and I'm sorry to say it, these games are so few and far between that Kickstarter usually is not even worth the risk. And then there was A Hat in Time, another Kickstarter success story that raised a cool $300,000 back in 2013, almost 10 times its original goal. Like Yooka-Laylee, it promised a revival of the long-dormant genre of 3D platformers, complete with a coat of paint linking back to the 6th generation of consoles, and more notably, one game in particular, Super Mario Sunshine. This immediately sparked my interest, not thanks to my love of Super Mario Sunshine, but because it was different. It wasn't trying to recreate something old into something new, but instead, it was creating something new with specific elements of those older titles. This had a chance, a very small chance, admittedly, but a chance nonetheless, to be good. And that is why today I'm finally taking a look at A Hat in Time, everybody's indie darling, and seeing if it really is as good as they say. Didn't everybody talk about this game like 8 months ago? Yeah, I know this game came out a few months ago, and everybody talked about it a few months ago, but I didn't want to put down £25 for a game I wasn't even sure I'd enjoy, but then it was on sale in Humble Bundle for about 10 quid, so I just bought it. Cheapskate! Fair. A Hat in Time starts off like any other 3D platformer, happy as happy could be. This is where the characters and main control scheme of these games are introduced, and in A Hat in Time's case, they're pretty stellar. This is Hat Kid, a little girl who travels around in her spaceship and also wears a bunch of different hats, like any usual small child. She's trying to fly home in her spaceship thanks to her fuel source, timepieces, which are basically magical hourglasses. All is going smoothly until she gets a knock on the door. In space. From a member of the Mafia who wants her to pay a toll for flying over his Mafia town. Yes, I'm actually serious. Hat Kid refuses, which immediately backfires as the Mafia member smashes through the window, causing her and all of her timepieces to go flying out to the planet below. And that's your conflict. It's not overly complicated like the Yooka-Laylee, and isn't frustratingly simple like Mario 3D World. It's simplistically brilliant in its premise, and delightfully charming as a result. It's succinct, and it fits the game's theme very well, that being cute as heck platforming action, and by cute as heck, I mean cute as heck. Every single environment, character, enemy, and cutscene brims with care and dedication, and of course, adorableness. Even me, a cool guy who only plays gun games and FIFA, can't help but to adore this game's cuteness. Like seriously, look at this. And this. And this. I want to squeeze it all to death, it's so cute. Hat Kid is the obvious star of the show, just look at that smile. Look at it. How can you not love this? But personally, I would argue that the Mafia are way cuter. Yes, the Mafia. Like, look at this dance. Look at it. Look at it. This is mostly thanks to their butchered English and voice actor, which always puts a smile on my face.
All roads lead to Mafia. Not good. Big immigration problems. We fixed this by moving to Island. Now no road lead to Mafia.
Of course, another reason for this adorability is the game's art style, which is a treat to witness. I love the cel-shaded art style of games like Wind Waker, and to see it used to full effect here is honestly mesmerising. Of course, it doesn't look nearly as good as some of the stuff Nintendo puts out. I mean, this is a small indie studio of about 10 people. Do you really expect stuff on the level of AAA studios? But for what it's worth, I do love that about this game, the somewhat rough around the edges approach, while still showing a clear love for the art form. However, there are elements I do dislike, most notably the lighting of the game, which at many times feels a little overdone, a bit like when you've cranked up a bunch of filters on an Instagram post when it really doesn't need them. However, this kind of issue is only really noticeable in Mafia Town, so I'll let it slide. But enough talking about the art style, enough talking about this game's cuteness. It's time to get down to the real meat of the video. Bolognese. Yo, Brooker, hand me the tomatoes, will you? What's good in a platform without any platforms, or more specifically, worlds to explore? A Hat in Time serves up 5 truly delightful stages, although in reality it's more like 4, since one is just the final boss. I don't care. That may seem like a small amount, especially considering Super Mario Odyssey has about twice that, but bear in mind, this is a really small indie studio making this game, and secondly, these chapters are individually split up into acts, each holding 1 timepiece each. Think Mario Sunshine mixed with Mario Galaxy, explorable areas, but with very linear and specific goals, with no other timepieces within the stage other than the specific mission you are on. I have mixed feelings about this system. On the one hand, I do like having specific objectives within a large open area, which allows you to have more freedom than in a game like Galaxy, for example, which is mostly just a straight line to the goal. But on the other, I do feel like this design frequently clashes with the mission-based structure of the acts. The large explorable areas frequently feel relatively pointless, and while they are incredibly fun to roam around, I would have liked more purpose for doing so, other than just collecting small collectibles. Speaking of which, the collectibles in this game are actually really neat. You've got the usual stuff, pawns, essentially coins, rift tokens, which allow you to unlock custom outfits and other such things, but there's also something brand new. Yarn. This is the most important collectible out of the bunch, allowing you to craft a variety of different hats, this game's form of power-ups, for use at any time when exploring the world. My favourite is probably the Dweller Mask, which at the flick of a switch allows you to phase specific platforms in and out of existence. This leads to some really interesting platforming challenges, particularly when platforms are introduced that actually disappear with the mask on, forcing you to turn the effect off mid-jump or risk falling into the abyss below. It's brilliantly simple, but also delightfully inventive, and I love it. The importance of yarn doesn't make the other collectibles pointless though, particularly the pawns, which are used for a variety of purposes. While they can be used to unlock new acts and trophy containers, the most useful purpose is to purchase one of the many badges from this guy. Yes, I know, he doesn't look like the most trustworthy of people to buy stuff from, but hey, give him the benefit of the doubt. Badges are essentially this game's form of the tonics from Yooka-Laylee, allowing you to equip an extra ability to better suit your playstyle, or to make Hat Kid even more adorable. Some of these are essentially required, like the grapple, which functions in many ways similar to the one from The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker. However, there are many others that are simply optional, like the scooter, which upgrades the sprint hat to a full-blown moped, or the one-hit wonder, which forces you to survive with only 1 heart. These can really spice up the gameplay, and in many cases, make the game more enjoyable as a result. However, there is one important part of any platformer that I have failed to mention. One so sacred that many even forget its existence. One so significant that without it, platformers wouldn't even function. Of course, I'm referring to movement. Yeah, I'm dedicating an entire section just to how this game feels to control, which may seem trivial at first. It's just how you move about the world. Why are you discussing this? But take a step back and you might begin to see why I'm talking about it. A Hat in Time's controls are nothing short of incredible. Whether it's simply running about, dashing through the air, or skipping up walls, it all feels expertly fine-tuned, and above all else, fun. Yeah, I said it, it is fun to simply run around these stages, which is something that I cannot say about a lot of other games. Sure, the worlds may be fun to explore, the secrets may be fun to find, but when was the last time you played a game where the simple movement of your character actually meant something to you? I love Super Mario Odyssey, and a major reason for that is the movement, all thanks to Mario's already existing mobility options, as well as a fantastic new addition, Cappy. A small change which drastically increases the fun you can have exploring every individual kingdom. In A Hat in Time, this dive, this one right here, this is this game's Cappy. Sure, A Hat in Time has fantastic controls on its own, with a great sense of weight behind every jump you perform and move you make, but it's this dive which really brings stuff together. Look at this bit, for example. Sure, you can easily hop over here carefully with individual jump after individual jump, slowly and steadily, or you can just do this. This one dive opens up a host of platforming opportunities, allowing you to subtly sequence break and reach areas you simply wouldn't be able to in a game like 3D World. And of course, like the cap dive, it is incredibly satisfying to pull off too, perhaps even more. There is a great sense of energy felt with every press of the right trigger, and an even greater sense of satisfaction upon perfecting a dive with a final press of the A button. This is the kind of stuff that games these days miss out on. The simple joy of controlling a character and moving them through the world you've created. And this is the kind of thing that A Hat in Time excels at. Of course, that's all redundant because the combat is awful. Seriously, this homing attack never works. Before I finish, there is one section I've neglected to discuss so far, and that is the music. You've likely heard it playing throughout this video, but if you haven't, you're probably deaf. It's been playing for about 10 minutes. A Hat in Time's OST is simply a marvel and dramatically supersedes even the very best of what Yooka-Laylee had to offer. A bit ironic considering the composers of Yooka-Laylee were paid far more and are usually considered to be living legends at this point. Even the Spaceship Hub theme, which was composed by one of the guys responsible for Yooka-Laylee's soundtrack, Grant Kirkhope, is many million times better than what he created for that game. Of course, the rest of A Hat in Time's OST is phenomenal too, whether it be in memorability, song structure, or how well it fits the act. It's almost always wonderful, catchy, and a treat to listen to. I do of course have favourites, like the main theme, which is excellent. One of the main Mafia Town themes, which is great just due to how chill it is. And Train Rush, which is the best song of the entire OST, and anyone who argues with me is incorrect. Sorry, bye! Even my least favourite tracks, most notably the final boss theme, sorry, it's so underwhelming, usually still capture the pure magic of A Hat in Time, which is fun. Pure, unadulterated fun. And really, that's why I enjoy A Hat in Time so much. Not for the cute visuals, nor for the memorable locations, because it's fun. A Hat in Time is fun to play, which so many games nowadays just simply aren't. which I think is kind of sad.
We get it, loser. The game is fun.
Wait, will you stop, man? I'm trying to make an important point here. Thank you. Anyway, back to what I was saying. It's that so many I swear to God! A Hat in Time was a non-stop delight, from the title screen to the end credits, and at least in my playthrough, a good deal longer after that too. It's a perfect adaptation of the games it looks to replicate, but also has enough control to know when to deviate from the original formula and improve upon what was already there, unlike another similar game. Its controls are tight, and its moves fun to execute. Its worlds, while small in number, are efficiently designed with the same kind of love and care that only Nintendo are capable of, and its presentation, while not as pristine as other games with cel shading, still looks very charming and overwhelmingly adorable, a plus that not many games can stick on their Steam page. While it certainly has issues like an occasionally finicky camera and somewhat contradictory level design, these will rarely ever affect your enjoyment of the experience. All in all, A Hat in Time is worth your money, sale or not. And if anything, it really goes to show you that Kickstarter may be worth the risk, after all. Before I go, there is one last thing I would like to discuss. This adventure game thing on the Spaceship PC. Now, I haven't heard an incredible amount about this game, just that it takes a fair amount of time to complete. So, I'll see you lot tomorrow when I've finally completed this last part of the game. See you then. It was pretty good, I guess.